Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is January the 5th, 2024. Hope this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to ya. Let's see. Nothing crazy to report. Work, another day. It was very slow, but overall, it was a good day. Food corner. I had Korean fried chicken. This was the garlic one. Gotta say, definitely the secondary one to the spicy, but I have the proper ingredients to kind of kick it up a notch. But I will say, like, I don't know if it's just like my palate changing over time. And don't get me wrong, I still like garlic, but I just don't like it as much as I did as a kid. I used to like love garlic bread, eat that shit up all the time. I didn't matter in what form or how high quality or processed it was. It didn't matter to me. Now I just can't eat garlic like things as much anymore. I'm not like as pro garlic as I used to be. The aftertaste like really just takes me out of it. Yet I love onions, so it's yeah. I'm taking one bad but not liking another. That's strange, right? But I don't know. I definitely wouldn't say it shifted to a hate. I just definitely don't like it as much as my other friends and other people do. It seems, and definitely not as much as I used to. Curious. Anyway, I know you guys didn't come here to hear my thoughts on garlic, but not a vampire, I promise. Let's see. Let me do my startup, and then we will get into some news, do a little bit of news coverage as we are wont to do on this podcast. Also, I gotta talk about a beer I got, but I already got the apparatus in my hand. Okay, what's the beer we got today? It is Cave Bear Imperial India Pale Ale from Rheingeist Brewery. It is 8.5 alcohol volume, which I'm already about. I love that shit. And I like that it tastes the way I expect an IPA to taste. Look, I love Urban Artifact. This isn't a diss, but if I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you guys, if I'm gonna be for real. The last time I went up there, we had a good time, enjoyed it. But like, I'm realizing like, and this was the second time, and this is why I feel like it really kind of cemented for me that like I love IPAs. Like I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those like old retired hipsters who just hasn't quite given up the ghost fully. And you're like, why do you like these beers? They aren't like good, right? And like they kind of taste like pee. I don't know. And it's like my counter to that is like, I mean, all beer does not like most beer tastes like shit. If you're really breaking it down, alcohol tastes like shit. You're not drinking it for that. You're drinking to have a fucking good time. And to that is my segue is why I like IPA so much because of the high volume. I get to like not fucking fuck around and it's beer. Like, you know what I mean? We get to just like cut the amount of beers it takes to get there, And for me, I do like the taste. I tend to like stronger flavors when it comes to beer, at least, for sure. So anyway, back to my point. I'm kind of circling it around. I know I haven't even gotten into the fucking news. But Urban Artifact, like they just had the weirdest fucking IPAs. Like an IPA should not taste like plastic pee. It should taste like, I don't know, like deer pee. Like it just was wrong. It didn't taste right to me. It threw me off. I will say though, Plowshares, goated. Gadget, goated. Amazing. But yeah, that hazy IPA were one of the worst IPAs I've had. I'm just gonna be straight the fuck up, fucking frank. What did we have the other time though? I've shouted them out before though. I think it was Ironside or something like that, or Fire Island. I don't fucking know. They crazy with them names, Ted. But that was okay. That was good. Definitely higher on the fruit. That's cool. I don't mind that. But okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm waxing. I'm waning. Let's talk about some news from Al Jazeera. Sierra Leone charges ex-president Koroma with treason over failed coup. Sierra Leone's ex-president Ernest Bai Koroma has been charged with 4 offenses, including treason for his alleged role in a failed military attempt to topple the West African country's government in November, a court in the capital Freetown has said. Let's see here. Frictions have been on the rise in the country, which is still recovering from a 1991 to 2002 civil war that killed more than 50,000 people. Let's see. Gunmen on November 26 attacked a military barracks, a prison, and other locations in Sierra Leone, freeing about 2,200 inmates and killing more than 20 people. The government said later that it was a failed coup led mostly by Koroma's bodyguards. They summoned the ex-president for questioning at the start of December. Now, Koroma has denied these charges. He's going to be fighting them in court. But he's been charged with misprision of treason and 2 counts of harboring, which were read out while he stood in the dock and some of his supporters cried in the courtroom. So yeah, apparently Koroma was in power. He lost power. Then the incumbent, he was in. Then he won again. And this is when the coup kind of happens, and it falls flat, and now it's like, okay, what the fuck? Like, now we gotta fucking run the shit back, see who did what here, and this is where it led back to Koroma. But I do want to read this, and just what a definition of misprision of treason is. Misprision of treason is an offense found in many common law jurisdictions around the world, having been inherited from English law. It is committed by someone who knows a treason is being or is about to be committed, but does not report it to a proper authority. So you can kind of see how it's like, hey, we are setting up a situation for you where it's like, look, man, these are your guys. We can prove and tie that. And these guys were definitely not happy with, the current power, and they wanted you back. So because of that, we can tie this all to you. And I feel like it's almost like a conspiracy kind of situation where, we can kind of set you up here and we can just kind of rack it all up. As well as the bodyguards and other people who are involved are also in there. One of those charged was Amadou Koita, a former soldier and bodyguard of Koroma. Koita was widely followed on social networks where he criticized BO's policy, which is the current incumbent. Let me see here. Yeah, President Julius Maada Bio, who was reelected for a second term in June of 2023. Now, whether or not, you always got to talk about elections and things like that. Were they on the up? Were they fair? It's crazy. I mean, maybe this has just been like a tale as old as time and I'm just a guy plugging in the moment. But yeah, it just feels like that shit is like just super fucking trendy these days. Damn, we can't have a clean election anywhere these days. I don't know. I feel like that's just something you can kind of say on almost any part of the map, elections be crazy. But yeah, I felt like it was good to kind of come in and talk about this update. It felt very relevant. So yeah, there's that. And, in terms of the trial and what comes of that, I'll try to keep you posted and, keep up with the Joneses there. Let's move on to some America news. America. Going to South Dakota. ABC News. Air Force crew ejects safely as B-1 bomber crashes during landing in South Dakota. 4 crew members from Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota ejected safely from their aircraft Thursday night when their bomber crashed while attempting a landing. The crash happened around 5:50 p.m. local time, according to the base. The crew had been on a training mission. Ellsworth Air Base confirmed Thursday night. So yeah, it's good that no one was hurt, but there's really no more details outside of that. Haven't heard anything about like any kind of like property damage or anything like that. But I mean, hey, I'm glad everyone's okay. Shit happens, I guess. It's crazy when it's like a military fucking, bomber. But, hey, these things happen. That's life, I guess. But yeah, let's move on to the next beat. From CNN, Imam fatally shot outside a New Jersey mosque remembered for his community leadership. Hassan Sharif, an imam who worked to keep his community safe, has died after being shot outside his mosque in Newark, New Jersey, officials said on Wednesday. Sharif died at about 2:20, hours after he was shot multiple times, officials said at an afternoon news conference. Sharif worked as a transportation security officer, or TSO, at Newark Liberty International Airport since 2006. Ooh, excuse me. according to a statement from the Transportation Security Administration. We are deeply saddened to learn of his passing and send our condolences to his family and family, friends, and coworkers, TSA said. At an afternoon news conference, New Jersey Attorney General Matthew J. Platkin said the evidence collected thus far does not indicate that this was an act motivated by bias or an act of domestic terrorism. Authorities pledged to use all resources available to solve this crime. The shooting happened outside of Masjid Muhammad Newark Mosque at about 6 a.m. Also, they give a definition of what an imam is, which is a mosque cleric or prayer leader. So yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate when something like this happens. Obviously, just flat out period. Given the climate of things right now going on in the Middle East, obviously, that is why, you have the New Jersey Attorney General coming out and saying, hey, we don't have anything that right now indicates that this was, an act of, terror. It wasn't, we don't know it's a hate crime or anything like that. And I can understand why, that is being said and being put, flat out. So, I just like with the situation with Samantha Wall, definitely, when these kind of situations come up, period, even though, like I said before, I'll say it again, it might just be one person, but these are important moments, in life, one way or another, and I feel like it's important to chronicle it when and where you can. And, once again, to send condolences and, keep talking about it. Keep these people's memories and, in your hearts and all that kind of shit. I don't know. Obviously, it's very unfortunate. But any details I hear, I'll definitely, try to keep everyone posted about it. But yeah. Let's see. We have one more thing to cover, and you know what? I love it. I love when I get to come and bring in some good news, okay? I initially was like, is this too nerdy? Is this too gamer guy? Are people really going to want to hear it? But it just was, so feel good, and it was nice to see it make the round in a lot of places. So yeah, I figured, hey, let's go ahead and talk about it ourselves. Let's, dig in, huh? Let's partake. And speaking of partaking, I'm going to take my last break, and then we can get into it, yeah. All right, our last story is from NPR. A 13-year-old in Oklahoma may have just become the first person to ever beat Tetris. Which, I'm sure you're reading that and going, huh? Like, beating Tetris, that's an old-ass fucking game, what you mean? But, in certain video games, usually the game beats the player, and not the other way around. But last month, 13-year-old Willis Gibson of Oklahoma became the first person believed to ever beat the original Nintendo version of Tetris. Also, I wanted to add that his gamer tag is Blue Scuddy, if you ever want to look him up. Gotta shout out other, content creators, young and up and coming, and this dude's in a big way. 34 years after Tetris was first released, Gibson ended up advancing so far that the game itself could not keep up with him. At level 157, he reached the notorious kill screen, the point in the game where it becomes unplayable because of limitations with the game's original programming. It took him less than 39 minutes. He also, for prosperity, whatever. Anyway, he, was recording it. Maybe he just runs videos of him just doing the runs. If you're not familiar, this is, a pretty common trait in gaming, especially these days, where, you stream yourself either, doing a speed run or, you're trying to beat a record, this, that, third, whatever. So yeah, in a video posted in his YouTube channel under the name Blue Scuddy, Gibson can be seen saying, "Just please crash," as the Tetris stacks fall faster and faster. Moments later, the screen freezes and he collapses in triumph. I will say, if you want to go on the article, you can look it up and they have a clip of it there. He's so ecstatic. He's like, he can't even breathe. He's so excited. And it's nice to share that moment. It's nice to be like, man, it's cool to see someone do something so crazy like this. Also, something I want to say too before I fucking forget is the technique to it. It's not like I feel like there's some people, because I saw a clip of a Sky News journalist talking shit like, oh, this kid should like actually go out more. Which, by the way, he did this cool ass fucking shit. He made this monumentous moment, and he did it like his late father. So it's like, fuck that fucking journalist, by the way, or reporter. Fuck her. Boo. Tomato town to her. But this technique that he does, I believe it's called rolling. And essentially, which, you know, for the adults out there, that sounds a little bad. But no, he wasn't doing performance-enhancing drugs. He was he would angle his controller, and that's why I wanted the thumbnail the way it was, because it shows his glove that he's wearing. And essentially, with one hand that he has controlling the game, the other hand he has literally like his fingers are rolling up against the back of the controller, and like I believe he has his thumb kind of like positioned in a certain kind of way, so that way you hit the button more times because of how it registers from you doing those finger taps on the back of the controller to your thumb hitting the button. And I'm like, that's crazy that one, this kid can do this so well, and he's talented enough to get to this point that he literally broke the game, but also that people have been mining this game, making techniques, coming up with this, evolving this techniques and like in these strategies to get as far as you could. I mean, literally before this kid, the only known was AI. AI was the only one to be able to reach this kill screen. So he was like, you know, the motherfucking kid to do it. He was the one, the chosen one, maybe. Who knows? It'd be cool to see maybe other people do it. Maybe if they can do it faster or things like that. It's also just cool to see a game reach its limits. That's not something that you see these days, because now games are just made to not have that issue. I feel like I have a joke where I like poke fun at a AAA game that just sucked dick, but you know, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Gaming was good this year. I feel like last year, 2023, everybody ate. So I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to talk shit. But yeah, that's really all I have. I just, felt like this was a good feel good note to end on. I did want to say this at the end too. He dedicated the record-setting win to his father, Adam Gibson, who died last month. So rest in power there, Adam Gibson. Shout out to fucking Blue Scuddy for making it happen. Fucking GG's. And that's it. That's the episode. That's all we have. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do have to shill a little bit before I cut you out. Patreon.com/Isaiah News if you'd like to become a newsie today. I shout you out at the top of the month. Plug a project if you'd like. Feel free to hit me up on isaiahnews1@gmail.com. And then follow me or the podcast on the socials. Hit me up. And we're not going to do a coup. Promise. That's not me. It's not my style. But, we can talk. You can say what's up. Also, I got to say this too. Thank you so much to everyone who does comment. Thank you to anyone who is subscribed to the YouTube. I say that a lot, but I really appreciate the people who actually go the effort. And, they hit those bells. They hit those fucking buttons. It means a fucking lot to me. It means a fucking fuckload to me that you guys even listen to my dumb ass. You know what I mean? I want y'all to know that I get hit like a lightning bolt over just this podcast alone. It really isn't a free action to me. You know what I mean? Even though I practically do this shit for free. I love it. I really love that you guys even tune back in. You know what I mean? And if you've made it this far, this is just a homage to you. You know what I mean? Just thank you so much. Thanks for all the fish. Thanks for all the memories. I know I'm kind of being weird here, but it means a lot that you listen and that you care. And just thanks so much for even, rapping with me and talking with me about news, any and every one of y'all. And even if you don't do that, like I said, just thanks again for just like kicking it and tuning in. I think that's great. And hopefully we do it again sometime. Yeah. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.